13 GMT, and we begin this news hour in Greece, where Coastguards have recovered the bodies of at least 78 people who drowned off the southern coast after their fishing boat sank. Operations are underway to find hundreds of others who are missing and feared dead. Survivors say the boat was carrying up to 700 migrants from several countries, including Pakistan, Egypt and Syria. 3 people suspected of human trafficking are under investigation. Caretaker Prime Minister Ioannis Sarmas has declared 3 days of national mourning. Live to Al Jazeera's John Psaropoulos, who's in Kalamata, Greece, where survivors are being brought. John, what's happened since we spoke the last time, just about 2 hours ago? Have any more survivors or bodies been found?
I'm afraid not. There are no bodies, no survivors. The search operation is ongoing. We know there's still a frigate and helicopters and a high seas coastal Coast Guard vessel out there looking, also several merchant ships. But we have had no information of anyone new being brought. Every time I speak to the Coast Guard in Athens, there are no new numbers. It's very much the numbers we had on Wednesday. So the only new thing that we've seen here is relatives of people who are on the boat trickling in. I spoke to one man from Italy who's come here looking for a relative, a cousin of his. I spoke to one man from Syria who's living in Hamburg, Germany. He has come here looking for his wife. He had paid $5,000 to have her shipped across from Libya because, as he said, it was very, very difficult to bring her over legally. And he is afraid that he's lost her forever. He's showing people pictures of his wife on his phone in hopes that somebody may have seen her or that somebody may disseminate that photograph to people who have seen her. As far as we know, all the survivors are men inside this warehouse. Certainly glimpses of them that we caught from the doorway suggest that. So it's highly unlikely that women are going to be now found.
Sad, sad stories, John. The people who've been rescued, as you say, mostly men from what we understand. What have you heard about their condition and what's going to happen to them? What sort of help, assistance are they receiving from Greek authorities?
We know that they were in a state of shock when they were brought on shore on Wednesday. We know some fainted here on the dock. We know that 32 of them have been hospitalized, 5 have been released. Dehydration, panic attacks, malnutrition, sunburn, partial drowning. Many had water in their lungs. All of these symptoms are being treated. The authorities here say that they're all going to be okay, but psychologically, it's a different story. It's likely that all of them have relatives or friends who were among those who didn't make it off the ship. And it's unclear how they're going to survive the ordeal of coming to terms with the fact that they have lost these loved ones forever and that they're going to have to carry on, whether under asylum conditions in Europe or elsewhere, alone. It's a devastating loss because the scale of the loss is such that there may be 600 or more people at the bottom of the sea at the moment.
Oh my, it's just unbelievable and really shocking, especially when you look at the pictures of the overcrowded boat. You can see the top deck of the boat there with what looks like at least 100 people, if not more. So one can only imagine how many could have been lower deck. Do we know, John, the circumstances of the accident? Because I understand that this boat was initially headed towards Italy, in fact. How did it capsize?
All we know about the circumstances is from the Greek Coast Guard captain who watched it happen in the very small hours of Wednesday. He says that the boat tilted side to side very violently until it capsized. It seems that after its engine stopped working, there was a 20-minute period of panic. And in that time, it may be that many people were moving across the deck or trying to find ways to fix the engine or simply didn't know what to do. Because many of these people are from Central Asian republics, landlocked republics, as we've been told, unfamiliar with the sea, never traveled over a large body of water. It's easy for a crowd like that to panic on such a tightly packed vessel with very, very few people there to reassure them that things can be fixed, that the Coast Guard can help them get to some shore, whether Greece's or Italy's. The Greek Coast Guard says that up until that point, all the communications with the boat resulted in the boats refusing any kind of help other than food and water. The Greek Coast Guard repeatedly says it asked them whether they needed to offload people, whether they needed any kind of assistance, and they said, no, we just want to get to Italy. But all of that changed after the engine stopped working, and within 25 minutes, the boat had sunk through this tilting of weight and capsizing.
Tragedy indeed. Thank you so much, John, for bringing us the latest there from Kalamata in Greece. John Psaropoulos.